days were. So we've got all the material from the galleries we visited. I think there's a folder with all the press releases from all the Chelsea galleries. Amazing work in all of them. We saw a musical performance with kind of sculptural objects, and it was in a place that had an amazing exhibition, Wendy's Subway Reading Room, which was an amazing space full of books. And that was, which place was that? Brooklyn, no, it was BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music. Right, so on that first day,
we met who?
We didn't really.
Residency Unlimited, as Bella said, they're very well connected in New York, and they organised a special visit to Louise Bourgeois' house. And a group of the Residency Unlimited residents were shown around by the curators of the house. They're in the process of preparing it as a research centre and archiving the documents. So we couldn't take any photographs. So these are downloaded from the internet. If you Google Louise Bourgeois House, there are several good articles about it with pictures, which is what we did. We got one picture of... no, that's not our
it looked like this.
It was an amazing house. But that's the only photograph we were allowed to take, which is in the garden. There's a Telegraph article written. There's a Telegraph article written a little before we went. So the material belongs to the Eastern Foundation, administered by Roderick and Louise's children, and it's in the process of being joined to its neighbour and acquired in 2009 from a theatre designer his house was so very different to Louise Bourgeois, and together they form a centre for scholars. And I've noticed on their website now they are starting to organise sort of public visits. And apparently we're invited to stay in the upper rooms as well. So, I mean, if you ever get to go, I think definitely the highlight for me is going to that house.
Sorry, could I just ask you, Amanda, could you come up from behind the computer?
Sorry.
I can't hear you.
Okay, I'll do this one. Right, okay, so if we're going to jump through, we'll kind of jump through to another highlight. And we've tried to find a variety of things. So you imagine in between all these things, we're doing tons of other stuff. After the Highline Walk, Matthew Jensen. So you can Google that up and have a look. It's got some lovely images and ideas. And here's an introduction to his work. And I booked us onto this walk, I think before we went,
yes.
Without really reading the text. Yeah. I thought it was a walk on the High Line. The High Line is a disused railway line that runs through the middle of Manhattan and has been turned into this amazing walk, garden, path. And it has art all over it and it's wonderful. Great. But if you read in the text there, the walks that Matthew Jensen devised actually mirrored the High Line, but weren't on the High Line. It was one of several around the city, and ours was right down near Rockaway Beach in Brooklyn, a subway ride and a bus ride away. So it was this kind of immense journey into a part of New York that we had no knowledge of, which was absolutely brilliant. And I think that's the other thing, is that you can do the centre of cities, and you can do the museums and galleries, and you can do all these things, and you're kind of in your safety zone, really. But then somebody invites you to go somewhere a little bit different and says, come and visit this place. And, you know, we found our way there, and we actually ended up on the same bus as the artists and the other walkers, of course, you know. And it was the most beautiful autumn day, absolutely lovely. And we made a journey through a post-industrial, semi-wild landscape, talking with diverse people who were on the walk. And we saw birds and flowers, we heard stories, we met a woman working in her allotment and she gave some of the group greens to eat for their dinner that night, and we had the most amazing experience. So if you see something, book onto it, make the same mistake that I did, find yourself on a journey that you're not sure how to make, and really enjoy it. We're particularly interested in walking because it's something that came up with Civic, a project that we've worked on kind of through Mission Gallery, which has been based in walking the city and walking in different places. Walking is a form. You know, if we think of sculptural forms and we think of painting and whatever, I think we can now accept, and this is a conversation I had with Matthew Jensen while we were on the walk, that walking is a form that artists can use. So that's something for you guys to think about as well.
This was another highlight. I think we agreed on what the highlights were, more or less. And this was one of the exhibitions in the Museum of Modern Art, Insecurities exhibition. And one of the things I wanted to do, and one of the reasons I wanted to go, was to really expand my curatorial skills and knowledge, and look perhaps at how museums and galleries use collections and drew work out of collections. And this was a really brilliant exhibition, a good example of that. So you can see it's an exhibition that brought together projects by artists, architects, designers, working in a range of mediums and scales, responding to the complex circumstances brought about by displacement. And the exhibition focused on conditions that disrupt conventional images of the built environment. And it was a fantastic exhibition, small exhibition in one room, very diverse exhibits, lots of design as well as fine art, work by product designers, architects, textile artists. A lot of it was commissioned for emergency situations or as a response to those situations. It was in a darkened room, quite busy, but nowhere near as hectic as the rest of the museum, which was so busy to the point that you couldn't really get around the place very well. We'd gone there on a really rainy day as well, so everyone just kind of descended on the place. It was a real place for contemplation, the serious issue of migration, but we got the sense that perhaps it wasn't being visited by as many people as some of the most sort of, famous art. This UN Hatto tent was a really strong experience, and our immediate thoughts were, what would it be like to live in this? And then the next slide, Refugee Republic, was produced by a Dutch architecture practice from their observations and research, and it's a map of a refugee camp projected onto the floor, so the viewer can almost enter the map and wander around, and was viewable on a small screen as well with other information as you navigated around it. The next highlight was quite early on in the visit as well, and that's Brooklyn, the Grange Farm tour.
Again, I kind of hooked onto this, not quite knowing where it was, but it was very close to us, so that was nice. We walked there quite happily. And you could only visit by booking onto a tour of the farm. So as you can see here, leading rooftop farming. Should we go back up to that, just so they can read what it is? Just intensive green roofing business. The world's largest rooftop soil farms, located on 2 roofs in New York City. They grow an awful lot of stuff, and they keep bees as well. So quite amazing. And there it is. And the minute we got there, we met a chicken farmer from Kent who was researching alternative farming methods in the US. And, you know, the tour was really excellent and informative and inspiring. It was a great way to visit rather than just kind of wandering in, and which obviously you couldn't do. And everywhere we went to New York, people had these kind of mottos or guiding principles, or the 3 this or the 3 that. And this was the 3 Ps, which I think people use quite a lot: people, planet, and profit. They explained that they couldn't do this without making money. They had a grant to develop the site, but then they needed to be self-sufficient financially. So that was really important. Our second favourite motto was Christie's, which was the 3 Ds, death, debt and divorce, which is how they do business. But we got a lot of those. I'm not sure which I prefer, actually. They explained what they grew, soil structure, experiments that they're doing in this area, how they sell through farmers' markets and to restaurants, and the fact that they operate on a number of sites. This one's in the Naval Dockyard in Brooklyn, with these amazing views across Manhattan. And it's in an area that's busy being gentrified, having been derelict and dangerous previously. And that's one of the big issues in New York. You know, gentrification, or this kind of upgrading of the city, in inverted commas, is a good and a bad thing. It's pricing artists out of the city, but it's creating all sorts of things along the way. So that's a very interesting area that we kept on coming across, was this kind of problem. And it's something, you know, that's very interesting in Swansea. Do we want anything that comes, or do we want to be very careful about what we wish for in the future? So, if you want to go through it.
Right. Rooftops. It's a bit dark, but yeah, we found ourselves on a lot of rooftops and bridges. I've got a lot of images of rooftops, actually. This is the roof of the artist Helen Dennis. She was Mission Gallery's artist in residence through Jane Phillips Award, and it was great to meet up with her again. She lives and works in a studio space in Bushwick, part of Brooklyn that's full of galleries and pizza. And that was an amazing view one evening. The next rooftop is the Metropolitan Museum, and this is the Cornelia Parker installation. It's very dark. Does he really good?
Well, I think it's maybe
if you want to Google the rooftop commissions, on the website there's a lot of information about the different commissions. Cornelia Parker's has ended now. The next one. Okay, this is dark but also fuzzy. The top of the new museum in the Bowery. We were up to pick a lot of Reist private view. The way we've explained the fuzzy photo is that it's been sponsored by Hendrick's Gin the evening before. So say no more.
It was a great thing. Some very, very rich people floating around, lying around.
Moving on.
Yeah.
So this is Dumbo, called an area in Brooklyn called Dumbo. Lots of arts organisations. This is the Riverside Walk and shows how the area got its name. Down under Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Is it? I don't know. Down under Manhattan, Brooklyn bridges.
What's the spelling?
Dumbo. D-U-M-B-O.
Oh.
When I first heard about Dumbo, I couldn't work out how to spell that, but yeah.
It's down under Manhattan and
Brooklyn bridges. I don't know. And I don't know what the stands for. We've never worked that out. Okay. Brooklyn Bridge on a gorgeous day. It's an essential walk to do when you're there. It's me in the corner. And I'm up on the High Line. Another hot, sunny autumn day. And most of them were really hot and sunny, except for 2 days of absolutely torrential rain, monsoon-like rain that was so extraordinary. I haven't been soaked to the skin for a long time, and we really were. So...
I can see why you went there.
Yeah.
Goats.
Go. Yeah, I hope you're all reading the extra information. There's an awful lot out there. So, future plans. What did we bring back? We're going to have to hurry up a bit. Do you want to do these? Shall I do these? Drawing Centre. Drawing Centre is an amazing place. If you go to New York, go to the Drawing Centre. It's in Greenwich Village. It's very near the Judd Foundation, all sorts of amazing things. And we will be doing an exchange with them. We're exchanging videos. So Mission Gallery will be showing videos that they show in their space and vice versa. So that's really good news. They were ever so friendly. We met a curator from there and they really wanted to do business. So if you ask, sometimes you get. So they mainly show drawings, but they also show kind of videos, animations that involve drawing. Right. And that's the space, which was painted pink rather wonderfully. Doug Ashford. Actually, do you want to do Doug?
Doug Ashford, New York, Brooklyn-based artist, is going to be making new work for Mission Gallery to be shown with live music, and it's in partnership with Swansea International Festival that will open at the same time as the festival, and he'll come over with his musicians in September, and he'll give his first talk here to foundation students. So it really, it's really exciting to have Doug Ashford here. The last talks he did in the UK were for the Tate and the ICA, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really brilliant to have him. He's a really interesting person, and will be the opening night of the festival as well.
So Google that up. Some of you who are going away may not have gone, and others will be inviting. I think Foundation Fine Art and MA probably would be good people to come to that. So, okay. Right, Thibaut Brunet was a French photographer who we met. He was one of the RU artists, and he was resident with them for a few months. And actually, we haven't got one of his images, partly because I think we found it hard to sort of extract them from his website for some reason. I'm not sure why. There's a picture. That's Thibaut on the end with the beard. And he's this wonderful, cuddly French man, and he makes the most amazing photographs, and that's the important thing about him. And we haven't fixed up anything definite with him, I think, but we're going to meet him in the summer because he's over in London, involved in a very prestigious award, and we'll hope to persuade him to come west and come and play with us down here in Swansea. So that's another person. And then we've got Brett, who is pretty much a definite, we think.
Yeah, Brett Swenson will be the Jane Phillips Award International Artist in Residence, and will be, looks like he's coming over in November. He's a fine artist who works with glass and found materials, and he was an artist in residence while we were there, and he was just very generous and helpful, introduced us to lots of people and places. Urban Glass, where he had his residency, and we've got really good connections with him and the Urban Glass Centre. This was a shop, studios and facilities for glass makers, and we think that Brett will be giving a talk here as well to UWTSD students as well during his time here. So yeah, I mean, he'll be based in Elysium Studios, but hopefully here in the glass department. And we're meeting with Sean tomorrow to fix all that up. And we've got some money for him. So all of that's happening. And then we've got the Pratt Institute, which was really close to where we were staying. An amazing art school. And we were, Helen introduced us to somebody who teaches there, Michael Brennan. And he showed us around this amazing campus, which, you know, in the bad old days of Brooklyn was surrounded by razor wire. It was, you know, this little oasis in a kind of a place that was very dodgy and dangerous, and is now a park that's open to the community. There's no razor wire left. It's the most beautiful place. And they keep on sort of buying extra buildings and kind of building it into this campus. So it's not a new built campus. It's a campus that keeps on sort of kind of growing into the existing environment. We are setting up student exchanges with Pratt. So via Michael, we asked whether we could think about student exchanges for a semester.
And I know that this week, Viscom, illustration and graphic designer over in New York, and they're going to pick up the connection, go and visit Pratt, and try and kind of finalise setting up these exchanges. So if you're staying in Swansea, that opportunity may have opened up by the time you hit your second year, which is a really good one. Indeed, if you're studying elsewhere, it may already be open via the other universities that you're going to. So if you're going somewhere like Kingston, they do a lot of exchanges. So hopefully that'll be, I don't know why we've got that one, we just put that in. Lost track of my words. So this is Martin Creed. It was an installation on Pier 9 in Brooklyn, and I think again this was probably our first day when we were staggering around with jet lag, and it seemed quite it turned around, it swirled around. So that is a whistle-stop tour. I think I've said everything I'm going to say. There is plenty more. We won't bore you with any more, but lots and lots of stuff. I just recommend you go and do a residency and go to New York and go anywhere you can and meet people and talk to them. And don't be frightened of talking to them. Now that you can contact people via social media, via email previously, you can make contacts really easily, and most people want to meet and talk, so do it. But we have an opportunity for you, so I'm going to leave Amanda to talk about that.